how I do my hummingbird feeder. You know, what I use for my nectar. And I use white sugar, and the teapot is now boiling. Let me shut that off, because what is good is when you're making your hummingbird food, it's really good to let it boil and then let it sit for a minute or so, kind of let it cool down a little bit. Because I have literally hundreds of hummingbirds, I make 8 cups of nectar at a time. I don't want to say a day because I'm going through this 2 and 3 times a day. So 8 cups at a time. And what I do is, I know this is 8 cups, so, and I've washed it. So the best thing and the easiest thing for me is to come in here, and here's an open bag of sugar, and I put in 1, 2. Now I've got 2 cups. That's 1 cup per 4 cups. Now I don't need to measure anything else. My water's hot. You heard the tea kettle. It's just starting to cool down. And I just pour in, probably maybe 1 to 2 cups. No measurement. You can do more. You could do less. And then I just start to stir. And I stir it until it's completely clear. That means all the crystals from the sugar has melted and it's gone into the water, and that's it. It's actually clear already. See how clear it is? This is really the easiest way to do it. Now I can top this with tap water. Our tap water is okay. So I'm going to use tap water. You can use bottled water. I don't bother. I do not put any food coloring in it. There's no reason to put food coloring. They're going to come no matter what, whether there's food coloring or not, the hummingbirds. Some people say it's toxic. If you put in 1 or 2 drops, believe you me, it's not going to be toxic. But there's no reason to. They know there's food in there, and they will come. But now it's real simple. Now I'm just topping it all the way up to the top, because I know it's 8 cups in here. If you wanted to, you can of course make less than 8 cups. If you were making 1 cup, which probably wouldn't be that much, but if you were making 1 cup, you'd put 1/4 of a cup of sugar if you were going to make 1 cup. Of course, if you were going to make, let's say, use a 4 cup, then it would be 1 cup of sugar. And whatever's left over, you can put it in a jar. I would put it in a glass jar and put it in the refrigerator. And it'll last for probably a week. For me, it won't last at all. See, they're all waiting. I think it's empty. And what I'm going to do is just top it off. I normally, if the feeder hasn't been washed this day, I will wash it with a little bleach and water. This one I did this morning, so I know it's clean. But that's it. I mean, it's that simple. The reason I like doing it this way is I don't have to measure, because I've already measured. I know there's 8 cups of water. I know I need 2 cups of sugar, so I just pour in some boiling water. It's cool now because most of it was cold that went in. If it's a little warm, it isn't going to hurt them. And that's it. And now they've got their feeder, and they can all come in and start eating. And this I do all day. And some people said, oh, you're giving them sugar, it's no good. This is not their main source of food. This is supplementing them. And there are literally hundreds now, and they're having babies. Last year and for 2 years, I had 1 nest right here on the hook. Right on the hook. Yes, I had to swing her in and change the feeder, but she nested right there on the hook. And now this year, she changed her nest. She took it apart. She came and she guarded it. And then she decided to take it apart, and she moved it just around the corner on the other side of the house on the cable line, the TV cable line coming into the house. She's got her nest there, and she's got babies. Maybe I'll put a little piece of clip on the end of this video so you can see it. It's amazing. But we've got literally hundreds of hummingbirds, so many feeders set up. And I have to be careful because I don't want them coming in the house. I don't know if you can see them there, but that feeder will be full. There can literally be 10, 15 birds surrounding it. Now, We do know every time you see birds there, it's not the same birds, which is really, really interesting. We had a pied, and we would time it, and the pied one would come, feed, and every 10 to 15 minutes it would come back. So when you see birds feeding at your hummingbird feeder, and you think, wow, they're eating all day, they're not. They're feeding, they're leaving, and then they're coming back to supplement. Now look at that, isn't that beautiful? And this is amazing. I'm hoping you can see that. They're so, so tame that when their feeders are empty, they'll follow me around the yard, they'll dive bomb me because they know I'm putting food in there. I put up a video a week or so ago, and somebody came back and said it was disturbing. They were having a hard time watching the video because of all the hummingbirds buzzing around my head. The feeders must not have all been full because I've got this feeder, I've got one here on the other window, I've got them hanging out there, I've got them in my garden. So when they start to run low and they're not all full, they'll follow me. They'll even come into the house. Normally there's a better screen there, but they've come through the doggy door. Literally gone under and gone into the doggy door and buzz around the house waiting, and then I have to open the doors and shush them out. And they're waiting for more food. So there are some flowers, and of course they could find probably enough in the wild that this helps them, and it's probably helped them to raise so many more babies. And I have talked to some of my neighbors who are now putting hummingbird feeders out, and they told me the other day they've seen so many, and I said, yeah, because they're having babies now. And they're quick. They will build a nest within days. It's amazing how fast they'll build a nest. And then they'll lay 2 eggs, and within 14 days they've got 2 babies, and in 14 days to maybe a few more days, give or take, they're gone. The babies are gone, and she's back on the nest. They'll do 3 clutches, and each bird will raise 6 babies. But isn't that amazing? I love them. So I just wanted to show you that. So simple. Once you decide how you're going to do it, you don't have to measure. If you were going to use this, just put a cup of sugar into this, because this is 4 cups. A lot of people have a Pyrex 4 cup. Put 1 cup in there, and the same thing. I can even make it again to show you how, because this is clear. This is 1 cup. See? You just put 1 cup in there. There's 4 cups of water go in there. I don't need to measure anything else. Just pour a little bit in, not a whole lot. And then start stirring. And with hot water, it dissolves right away. And the reason I want you to use hot water, and it's got to be just under boiling, is because if you put the sugar in cold water, a lot of times it will not melt. And you'll end up with gritty hummingbird food, or it will separate. Some people have said it separates. Why is it separating? Because it never fully melted. It's kind of like making candy. So see how nice and clear it is now? And now I can top this up with water to the top, and this one's good to go. And I can store it in the refrigerator, which I have so many feeders, I'm not. I'm going to use this right away. If you so desire, and you really, really want to put a drop or 2 of food coloring in it, go ahead and do it. But I really would say don't do it. I could probably add a little bit more. I would say don't do it. You don't need it. The birds don't need the fake food coloring. And this is just perfect the way it is. But that's it. That's how easy it is. So it's 1/4 to 1. So if you were doing 1 cup, you would put in 1/4 cup of sugar. But I would say make 4 cups. This is the easiest way. 1 cup of sugar, 4 cups of water. Do it this way so you don't have to measure. You just measure the 1 cup. You know your container's 4 cups. You put in your boiling water. As soon as it's melted, you don't need a whole lot of water in there. Top it up with cold water. See, it's barely warm. And now you're ready to go, and you can store this in the refrigerator. It's that easy. If you have problems with ants, there are some people that are selling ant guards. I made my own. Once in a while, I will get ants, and they'll come down the feeder. I made this. It's a little plastic cup. I took some wire out of the garage for my husband, and with a hot needle, I made a hole. I slipped the wire in, and then I curled it on each end. I think you can see that. And I did put a little piece of duct tape down here to hold it, and then I put a little bit of glue. you'll have to get an epoxy glue or aquarium sealer. Put some aquarium sealer in there, and you can get really fancy. Put a couple of rocks in there. I have one with a little Yorkie in it. And then you can hang this from the hook and your feet are under here, and you fill this with water. The ants can't get to it. So you won't have any ants getting to your hummingbird feeder. And that's only if you have a problem. We tend to get an ant problem usually in the fall. I think they're looking for water and more food and different things. So really easy to make one, or like I said, they sell the ant guards online. I've seen different places sell it. So with that, I think I'm done. Kitty, hey, you want to say hello? Come here, come here. She's been sitting here watching me. You were sleeping now? Say goodbye to oh, you guys want to say anything? You sit and watch the hummingbirds? Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. What did I make? Hummingbird food. So with that, I hope I've answered some of your questions on how to make hummingbird food. Don't give it to your dogs. That's not good for them. They have a different metabolism, so sugar is not good for them. Sugar is fine for hummingbirds. And butterflies. Sometimes I have butterflies come to that, and they'll feed out of a hummingbird feeder. Of course, the orioles will feed out of the hummingbird feeder. Those holes are big enough for them. And once in a while, you'll get some honeybees, but not too often. So with that, have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Oh, you just woke up. You were sleeping. Yes, I know. Your broken leg is all healed. The vet did a wonderful job. If we only knew how you broke it. Yeah, I don't know. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye.